Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Claire. My pleasure.
I would love to start by hearing what has the response to the second after movie been like? How does it compare to your experience with the first one? What have the fans been saying?
Do you know what? I feel like because we got stuck straight into 3 and 4, I don't think I've been able to properly gauge, how it's been received as much as I would have liked to. And with
Mm.
lockdown, it's obviously extra difficult for everyone to go see it and for us to gauge, how everyone thinks about it. But just happy we could bring the story to life for everyone, and I hope they all like it. It's always different doing the second movie with a different director because it's a very different style. So I feel like some people massively prefer the first and some people massively prefer the second, and I think I've spoken to some people where it's like a bit of a divide, but it's nice to be able to give every fan a little taste of what they want. And in terms of how much it's been kind of promoted, I've personally, this is the first time. On the first one I didn't, but this is the first time I really noticed, on Amazon Prime and adverts when I'm on YouTube, I see myself pop up, and this is the first time for me. So yeah, the second one has been like a whole kind of different kind of beast in terms of how it's come out and how it's been received.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a weird feeling to see yourself on an advertisement.
Yeah, just like catching football highlights on YouTube and then it's me, and yeah, it's definitely weird.
Yeah, speaking of those fans, we're going to hear from them a little bit later. They sent in so many questions, so rest assured people love the movies and are so excited to hear more from you.
Good.
So
No, I'm glad.
how has the filming been going on movies 3 and 4? You were in Bulgaria, right?
Yeah. Bulgaria for the last, I'd say, 3 months of last year. So grateful to be working through the pandemic is the first thing that needs to be said. Filming 2 movies back to back is more difficult than filming 1 movie, and filming in the pandemic is more difficult than not filming in the pandemic. So filming 2 movies back to back in a pandemic was definitely challenging, but we had such a good team, and nothing ever goes easy. We did have some kind of hiccups, and but no, credit to, literally, I always say, the cast and the crew, but everyone pulled together, and we managed to make it work somehow. So it was great fun, but it was definitely hard work.
And speaking of Valentine's Day, what do you think Hardin and Tessa would be doing on their ideal Valentine's Day date? Are they going to do some more yoga?
Do you know what? I think on their ideal Valentine's Day date, I think that especially now, I think they're a bit more, they're intellectual, they're classy. I reckon it's just like reading a book, cozied up on the sofa, maybe make a really nice home cooked meal, and just spend the day in each other's company with nothing too materialistic, or just in each other's arms reading a book with some nice food, I reckon.
That does sound pretty nice. Pretty good Valentine's Day. I would love to hear more about the fragrance campaign that you're working on. This fragrance is all about kind of a different interpretation of modern masculinity. How do you define masculinity tied to this fragrance?
You know what? I feel like at first, this question was kind of something where you feel like you need to know the right answer, and I feel like the more I talk about this, because of the campaign and everything it stands for, I find myself exploring and learning a lot more about that word. And if I'm being honest, I think I always want to hold on to the good traits of it, and the fact that I guess my dad and his dad were raised as the typical kind of man of the house, and you look after the women in the family, and you gotta make sure you're financially stable when you're. And I think to an extent, those are still, good values that all people should have. But I think if we're all honest, we know that there are so many toxic aspects to what we define as masculinity, and maybe thinking that men have to be brave and strong and maybe can't be too flamboyant or express themselves in certain ways. And I think the whole world, but especially Ferragamo and what they stand for, and kind of redefining masculinity as just being who you want to be and doing what you want to do, and not kind of just copying and falling into the kind of I guess social expectations of being the alpha male, masculine man's man, and that's not the case anymore. So we're celebrating masculinity as just being whoever you want to be, regardless.
Yeah, love that. That's cool.
Thank you.
Speaking of being who you are, I feel like Valentine's Day is about romantic love, but there's so many ways that you can love your friends, love yourself. How important is it for you to have good friendships and good relationships with family in your life?
So I think actually this ties in quite nicely. The writer of After, Anna Todd, I think posted something recently saying like we don't ever like talk about, you know, how great it is when you find a new friend, or how heartbreaking it is when you like guess
Mhm.
have like a friend breakup per se. And it just made me think like it's so true. We kind of treat like, I guess, intimate relationships completely differently from friendships and relationships with your family and relatives. And
Yeah.
to answer your question, this you can't. I mean, I don't think words can do justice how important for me anyway. My friends and family are like almost everything I do is fueled by them, for them in some way. And like, I yeah, how much time do we have? My friends and family are a massive part of my life, 100%.
I love that. How do you keep in touch with them when you're like away for weeks at a time? How are you prioritizing that?
Do you know what? I feel like I can ghost, and especially when I'm working, maybe like not stay in touch so much. It's more about when I have the time, I want to be like,
Mhm.
you know, when I have the time and I'm not working, I say to my agents like, almost book it in as a job for me to catch up with my friends and my family, because it's so important to me. I can't just be running around the world working and never like bringing it back to the people who kind of made me who I am, and put me in that position and whatnot. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, obviously the simple one, calls and texts, but they never match up to just properly spending time with your loved ones. So
How are you treating yourself kindly? How are you, loving yourself, as cheesy as that is, like it is important.
do you know, I think after filming in Bulgaria towards the end of last year and over Christmas and the New Year, I really just said to myself, I feel like I've, since the start of the After franchise, or even before that, kind of just been a head down, work, 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 and you
Mhm.
know, just try and be as productive and stuff as possible. And I really have, from a while ago, kind of anticipated the last month, this kind of January of this year, to be my chill time and my basically just like hibernation, home holiday. So in terms
Mm.
of loving it, I've done a whole lot of just nothing, and that's how I show love to myself after two movies back to back in a pandemic. Is just as much nothing as possible, if that makes sense. So yeah, I've been loving
Yeah.
myself by just chilling out, and I am very much on the other side of that and ready to go do stuff again. I think we all are
Yeah.
ready to go do stuff again, but yeah.
That's definitely true. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting, like, in the context of this year has been so horrible in so many different ways for everyone, and,
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, how do you think you've grown over the past year? Are there things you're thinking about now that maybe you wouldn't have a year ago?
Yeah, I feel like for me, aside from the whole, you know, coronavirus lockdown for a second, I think the fact that I've done, you know, this whole franchise, it does feel like, and as I say, like we knew it would eventually come to an end, and you kind of have to embrace that. You can't let it like get you down. And
Mm.
I think just I'm just super excited for like the next chapter. I'm just
Yeah.
so happy and grateful to have done everything to do with After. But just I guess the best advice and best strategy is just keep looking forward, and I'm excited for yeah, what's to come. So in terms of how I've grown, I think I've just kind of like I've put the work in, and as I say, it's been very much like just have my head down, and now is the time I kind of pick my head up and reassess like how have I grown, what do I want to do next, what are my plans. And
Going back to the fragrance, I love the way that fragrances are described. They get all these like really intense words.
yeah,
This one is like leathery, intense, with notes of radiance and seduction.
yeah,
How would you describe the fragrance in descriptive words?
stuff like that, because I wouldn't do it any justice myself. I mean, I'm with you. I love like there's a proper art to describing fragrances, and they
Truly.
definitely do a better job than me. But yeah, it's kind of mad how someone says something smells like intense, citrusy, and leathery, and you're like, how really? And then you smell it, and you're like, wow, that's exactly what it smells like. So no,
Yeah.
I'm with you. The people behind describing scents are it's an art form, and I know from this. And when I get asked to do it in my own words, and I'm terrible. But no, the balance of, I guess, like the old and the new, and the leathery, citrusy notes and the oaky tones, and I mean, there's a lot to it. There's a lot of depth, but that's my 2 cents. How did I do? All right.
You did, yeah, you nailed it. You should be a perfumer at this point. Switch careers, go off. Yeah, I mean, I see you have the fragrance right there. Like, what has it been like? What does it smell like?
I do. I mean, it's a beautiful, balanced fragrance. I think it's suitable for all occasions. It's my go-to. I've run through like 3 of these already, but thankfully Ferragamo always keep me well stocked up. So
What's something in your life you're excited about this year? It could be a career thing, or it could be just something fun you've
yeah,
got going
well,
on.
as I say, I'm definitely excited to just to work more and see what other roles I end up doing and tell
Yeah.
some more cool stories. But I think personally, the whole time I've been away, been around the world a little bit, and used to obviously live with parents, and then I've been renting for the past year. So now this year, kind of, I plan to move out, and I guess that's one thing I'm really excited for, is to actually like buy a house local to where my
Yeah.
friends are, and near where I've grown up. But yeah, to purchase and own a property is something I'm super excited about, and obviously
Mm.
extremely lucky to be able to do so.
Yeah, that's like a big adult move, I feel like, striking out on your own, getting
Dude,
your own
like
place. Fun.
it's not normal for me to be in this position already, which is insane. So I'm thoroughly like grateful. Again, like it's mad because obviously I've done like a fair bit of work across the board, but the After Fans has really just been like a sudden trajectory of my career. So I'll keep coming back to it, and I never feel guilty. But it's a huge amount of credit to the After fandom and all of their support. So.
Many thanks to After fans. That segues so perfectly because, like I mentioned before, all these fans sent in questions. They were like in my DMs with huge lists of questions. It was really a testament to like how much they love the series and your work. But yeah, so we pulled some of our favorite questions to ask you
Wicked.
from the fans.
Shoot.
Um, the first one is, if you could play any other character in the After series, who would it be?
So I initially I want to say Trevor, because that's just like a deliberately annoying answer, and it would be nice to play like the other side and completely different. But I feel like down the line, like maybe like Vance or Ken, I feel like playing one of the older generation characters would be pretty
Mm.
cool. So yeah, maybe Vance or Ken down the line. That'd be cool.
The next question is, can you speak any language other than English? And if not, is there a language you'd like to learn?
I can't. I would like to learn every language, but my first, I think Spanish would be my first.
Mm.
I feel like I did a little bit in school. I feel like I have enough of the pieces there, make it the most realistic language for me to learn next. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll go with Spanish.
Okay. Next question. What is your favorite food in London? Do you have like a favorite restaurant, a favorite cuisine?
Oh, this is tough. This is tough. To be honest, just local to where I live, I feel like since you're asking about I feel like there's a lot of Jamaican shops near me, but I have to say the crown goes to tickle me. I've got friends who live like half an hour away, and they've got
Mm.
shops 5-10 minutes from them, but they're always driving to the one near me, which will tickle me. And it's just like Jamaican food, like jerk chicken,
Mm.
curry goat, all that good stuff. And it's like very near my house. And I found like in Bulgaria, for example, it's not hard, it's quite hard to find. In Bulgaria, there wasn't a single Jamaican
Mm.
place. So after 3 months away, I was straight in there. So yeah.
Yeah. That sounds amazing. It's nice that
Can't
it's
believe you
close
made
to
me
you.
pick one of my favorite. That's like picking a child. One of my favorite food spots in London.
The most difficult question of the day is
Yeah.
favorite food. Do you have anything you want to say to the fans, like final words? What has it been like to have them with you on this journey?
Yeah, insane. But we're not done yet. Like I feel like we feel like because we've shot up to the fourth one, we've kind of like near done, but we've only just dropped the second one, so we're still very
Yeah.
much like kind of halfway through. So I'll keep
Yeah.
that excitement going and say yeah. I mean, although the second one hasn't even come out too recently, we've got 3 and 4 eventually on the way. We're always going to make it bigger and better. So thank you so much for all your support so far, and stay on this boat because it's going to be a fun ride.
Yes, so many more After movies to enjoy next.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for chatting
Thank
with me.
you.
It's so exciting to hear about After and about the Ferragamo fragrance. Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Claire. Thank you, Team Vogue. Thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure.